Welcome, Wargamers. Join your hosts, Bonko and Monty, two Canadian wargaming enthusiasts, as we explore all aspects of tabletop wargaming. We roll dice, talk tactics, share hobby hacks, and explore new tabletop systems, all on the Trident Wargaming podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to Trident Wargaming. I am once again joined by Arthur charging from Deepstrike Studios.
Thank you for having me on the show again, Bill.
Oh, you're very welcome, very welcome. We're going to be throwing some 40k action at you guys today, so it should be pretty good.
You ever play so much Warhammer that you're like, wow, I don't want to play any more Warhammer this week. I'm played out.
It hasn't been like that for me for a while, but you have been quite busy. Actually, a number of you guys in the community have been. So
yeah, just the final tournament in Edmonton kind of wrapped up recently with some big changes, because guess what come out? Warzone Nephilim, and it literally changed everything.
Yeah.
So between like practice games and actual tournament games and league games and trying to get heresy games, and I'm on holidays, dog, and I'm tired from all these games. It's been a great time, though.
I was going to say, it sounds like a good problem to have.
Before we talk about Nephilim, about Hometown, about Full Auto, about your event, which maybe you'll announce a name for that. I was thinking Bill's Take Your Shirt Off 2K, but we'll leave it at that. Before we talk about Chaos Space Marines and Chaos Demons and Angren and the League and all the other good stuff, let's talk hobby.
Yes.
What have you managed to get done?
It has been busy on the hobby front. Friday night, a few of us gathered together, and we cranked out an obscene amount of terrain. It's been an ongoing battle the last probably 2 months, on and off, with having build parties, getting everything cut out of sprues, repaired, cleaned up for this big event that's going to be popping off end of August. Other than that, it's just been tinkering a little bit with my 30k word bearers. I ended up stripping a bunch of them that I decided to use AK enamel streaking grime on, and they look good, but they're a little too dark for me, and a lot of the details were kind of lost, so decided to kind of reset on that.
Now, did you before you put that streaking grime on there, did you seal it at all with like a gloss or a matte varnish?
I did.
And you were still able to get all that off?
Yeah.
Right on.
Stripped right down to the bare plastic. I ended up using non-acetone nail polish remover, and I dunked it in my sonic cleaner for about, I want to say maybe 15 minutes, agitating, and then I ended up pulling it out, giving it a quick scrub with an old toothbrush, and then I threw it into another ultrasonic cleaner full of pure super clean, like an automotive greaser kind of thing. And in the morning, I honestly just used the spray pressure from my kitchen sink, and it was enough to actually rip the paint off, which was pretty sweet. So
damn.
Yeah, it was awesome. I haven't had that much success with a stripping agent before, so I was really pleased that Alex there told me no lies. He said, "Try it, man. It'll real speed it up." And usually it's like a 2 or 3 day process in the super clean or whatever, but this was all within an hour kind of thing. It was pretty legit.
Well, I'm kind of surprised, because a lot of times, after you hit a varnish, good, fucking good luck, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can always get it there, but at that point you're looking at days.
Yeah. I was very thankful to get it to that point, because I just want to bump it up a little bit brighter than what they are now, and I figure, you know what, it's a lot easier to hit the reset button when I'm only 22 models in, versus you have an army painted and you're unhappy. So
No, I definitely feel that. I kind of went the opposite way with the Emperor's Children,
Yeah.
in that I went very bright to begin with because I knew I was going to be throwing an oil wash on it.
Yeah.
So I threw a brown oil wash to try to blend in with those purples, and then took it off. The AK interactive enamel, and it is still almost too dark. And I've been humming and hawing like, do I want to strip this, or is this that John Blanche grimdark kind of look I want?
Yeah.
Because the sisters, they're black non-metal metallic. They're very clean. The Eldar, they're green. There's not a single metallic in that army. Everything is non-metal metallic. They're very clean.
Yeah.
And so I sat there and I decided, you know what? I'll do a nice dirty army because it's been a long time since I've gone with that style. And I think Heresy's maybe the place to do that.
Definitely. It thrives on that grim dark aesthetic, right? It really does. So that's a nice thing about it.
The tanks love it. The vehicles love it, and the dreadnoughts love it. So we'll see how that works out. So, anyways, you painted out literally hours and hours and built hours and hours of terrain, more crates than any man can count. You've worked through some word bearers.
Yeah, there's a ton of crates.
Anything else? Is that all your hobby stuff?
For the most part, yeah. It's just been a lot of terrain, and then obviously the 30k stuff, trying to make the push. And I've still got so much stuff to build. Like, it's just everything's on pause right now until the terrain is ready. That's kind of my number one priority right now. I was doing some priming today, and realistically, I ended up picking up a total of 8 cans of black primer and 3 cans of white, so I can do that, top down kind of highlight to speed things along.
Yeah.
And it might be enough. It might be.
That's so much.
It's crazy, right? Like, I've never dropped almost 100, like pretty much $100 on primer before, and I was like, damn, like that's a first for me. So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome though. On my side of things, I've really been picking away at the first 1,500 points of the Emperor's Children. We got 20 Marines, with bolters, 10 Marines with plasma, a special character that I've been kind of holding off from showing everyone because I want the princess reveal to be a big deal when I show it to the world. It's a kit bash from some Palatine stuff, from some Terminator stuff, from those 2 new characters. I've gone all out on this guy. Yeah, well, I've never even seen a model like this somewhere else, so I'm excited to share this. I think it'll be a big hit.
Awesome.
A Spartan and a Contemptor.
Oof.
So I'm trying to get that first, 1,500 painted so that when it comes down to this Heresy League coming up, I'll be able to focus on the next 1,500 while everyone's still working on their first.
Yeah, no, that's a solid plan. It really is.
But this is not a Heresy podcast, Bill.
It is not. It is not. We are 10,000 years in the future. So
that's right.
We'll fast forward.
In fact,
40k
in a very specific war zone.
It's true.
Warzone Nephilim. Who's on the cover of that book?
Some Necrons.
Why do you think fucking Necrons are on the cover of that book?
Because they got a sweet boost, and they're definitely they're quite a contender now.
Yeah, so I think that their special rule now for being Necrons is like army-wide core, right? They got
a huge boost for core.
That's not what their mono detachment bonus is, but it kind of feels like it. Even the Silent King is core.
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting interactions you can do where you can revive his buddies, which is super neat.
No doubt.
For the listeners who aren't really 40k centric or aren't that into it, Warzone Nephilim dropped, and it's probably been the biggest metagame shakeup since 9th edition dropped. They changed up all the secondaries, so every single faction secondary got tweaked. Some got buffed. A few of the auto takes got nerfed, and then they went through all the general ones, and they removed some outright. They modified others.
Yeah.
And mostly the missions are the same, but the other big change is what they did with command points. They took all the command points and they said, instead of starting with 12, you guys can start with 6. And you don't get free relics or free warlord traits anymore. You got to pay for that. So this has had a couple major repercussions because you can't really afford to take. You can't play Hero Hammer anymore, right?
Yeah.
Most people were taking 2 or 3 just kitted out to the nines, kill heroes, and you can't afford to do that.
No, it's
And
true.
they're really reinforcing you taking a battalion.
Yeah.
One of my big critiques of 9th Age Warhammer is that it almost feels like troops aren't worth taking. But now, and it's kind of a tax, and a lot of people hate that troops tax. With so limited CP, you almost need to take 3 squads of troops. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Should you have to take more troops?
Considering the way that the game is focused very much around scoring, I think more troops is always a good thing. It obviously can change some of the styles of play some people are going for. Like, don't need troops if you table the enemy, right? But essentially, troops are going to get you there and allow you to hold those objectives, especially if they're obsec and you're dealing with other units close by. So it's probably
Funny you said that because I tabled one of my enemies during this last tournament, and I lost because his whole army was troops.
Oh, see? Yeah. It can happen. It can happen.
But just from a game design perspective, if you were building your best possible version of Warhammer, what would you do with troops? Would you make them mandatory? Would you do the Heresy Combined Arms attachment? Would you make it completely optional? And where do we draw the line between mandatory troops and taking them because they should be the flavor of an army?
I guess
whenever we read about Space Marines and the fluff, we have just squads of tacticals after squads of tacticals, and they've kind of tried to make something resemble that with the core keyword.
Yeah,
but not there. So what would you do?
It's kind of it's a good question. I think the approach that 30k has taken as far as like the line troop goes, I like that. That's the only thing that can actually let you score. Whereas in 40k, basically anything can score anything. It's just OBSEC is better. So I think if you dialed it back to where only troops can score, you'd see a lot more people taking them, and being a little bit more, what's the word? I guess cautious with them as well. Some people just throw their troops into screens, try and do whatever they can, and I think you'd see people actually taking care of them, hiding them, and maybe even taking transports to kind of have them screened away from enemy fire. There could be a lot of different ways to benefit from that.
I'm thinking of the old 5th edition rules where your troops would sit in a rhino for 5 turns. At the end of turn 5, they'd get out, and you just hope that we don't play turn 6 because then you might not win.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things about Heresy, and again, this is not a Heresy podcast today, but being that they've kind of thrown a whole bunch of rules out there, I think in anticipation for what they might change for 10th, right? Hey, is this system cool? Is it not? They even say in like a little fluff passage somewhere in the Age of Darkness rulebook that your line troops are there to consolidate objectives after your more specialized infantry and stuff have taken them. So maybe those middle checkpoints, your Terminators run up and they clear it, and then later on, your troops hold the ground. And that kind of resembles what would happen in a traditional setting, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right? You're not sending basic guardsmen to go clear a field. They're going to mop up the ranks. You're going to send in the Lehman Russes first.
Yeah. Yeah, and that does kind of go hand in hand, I guess, with like even thinking about my executioners. I'm probably gonna straight up send aggressors and send my Redemptor and maybe even the Repulsor Executioner up the board, and then let those little intercessor squads kind of mop up and just hold, right? So it does make sense though, like from I guess from a standpoint of just like fluff in the way that you can play it.
Now this troops change, being that having battalions are almost now mandatory, totally changed what army I was going to take for Hometown. Because I was all gung-ho on Eldar, but I was playing a Vanguard's attachment. If you don't play a lot of 40k, that just means instead of taking 2 troops and your HQ, you got to take 3 elite choices. And in Eldar, that's where all your aspect warrior are. So your Dire Avengers, your Fire Dragons, your Howling Banshees, all the things for why you would want to play Eldar are in the elite section. So I've been working on this Eldar army for months at this point. Nephilim drops 2 weeks before Hometown, and Hometown decides they're going to use it. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was pretty disappointed. Because I spent months painting this army. And I think it's my best painting project to date. I knew that Ward was going to be playing, so I didn't think I was going to win Best Painted, but I wanted to represent with something I thought was cool, so I was pretty upset for a bit. In addition, they nerfed some of the Eldar stratagems, kind of in the same way they did to Custodes a few months ago, where they hit them with the once per game, to try to make Eldar play more interactively. So better for the game, worse for me personally. So I had to totally shake up the army I was going to bring. I ended up bringing the Sisters of Battle. And they got a huge boost in the form of secondaries. They have the best secondary set. Maybe Necrons have it. Between the two of them, they have the best secondary set in the whole game. And in some of those cases, you can pretty much just write 10 or 15 on your little scorecard as soon as you slap that objective, because there's nothing the opponent can do about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I went to Hometown with that. Did you come check out Hometown at all?
No, I didn't get a chance to. I ended up actually scheduling my buddy's bachelor party that weekend, and it just was not in the cards. So I'll put it that way.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Honestly, bachelor party sounds like a great time.
It was good.
Hometown called themselves the premier Edmonton event, and I was wondering if they would hold up to that. The ticket was expensive, but I think we talked about this in our last podcast. It was $100 for a Saturday-Sunday event, and that's, not gonna lie, that's pretty pricey.
That's premium.
Because standard event fare used to be $60, and even at $60, I always thought that's 4 games of Warhammer. I could play that for free in my basement. But the kicker was they said they would provide you all you can drink open bar and lunch on both days. Now, when you kind of do the math, lunch is going to be $12-15 per guy, and if, you drink a couple beers, I guess you made your money back.
Yep.
Anyways, some plus or minus on Hometown. Hometown overall was an excellent event. I give them 2 thumbs up. And if you were thinking about going, I think next year you should definitely sign up early because it was a good time. They bought 2 kegs, and you had your choice between 2 different types of beer. Now they threw it on ice, so all Saturday it was nice and ice cold, but it kind of melted over Sunday, so Sunday the beer was kind of warm. That was a little bit of a downer. Thumbs down on that. Nobody likes warm beer. Saturday the beer was flowing.
Unless you're in England, then they rock out warm beer.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah.
That's not the way.
No. I'm a cold beer myself. So.
If ice cold, if it's a little warm. You guys are making fun of me when I was building terrain with you because I had to feel to see if the beer was warm enough.
There was still these dewdrops running down the can. It was practically mountain certified cold. And you were like, "No, man, it's too warm." I was like, "What?
Too warm? It's not cold enough."
So, and correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not England, I'm pretty sure it's England and UK. There, I'm pretty sure. Very confident in that. But if I'm full of shit, let me know.
That's funny. At me in the comments. I want to know if where else they drink warm beer. Actually, in Peru, if you want a cold pop, you have to say you want it frio. Otherwise, they just give you a warm one.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Warm pop is nasty.
I'm okay with just the cold beer. Everything else, I don't mind being room temp personally. Except coffee. Coffee hot.
You know what? There was an English IPA, I think, and maybe that's what they were going for. They wanted that nice and warm for the true British Warhammer experience.
There you go. Ready.
Thumbs down on warm beer. The lunch was pretty good. The second day they brought in Italian center shop. Nice little sub. The first day they brought in a sub. There was a range of options, so if you wanted chicken or beef or vegetarian, if you're weird, or dietary restrictions, whatever. So the food was good, and I think the thing that they did the best was the terrain. Now they went all out. They attached QR codes to. So first of all, they cut up a bunch of their old 6x4 fat mats.
Yeah.
And they were actually quite big. They were GW terrain size, and then they put their runes or whatever. But it was the mat that provided like obscuring. So there was more line of sight blocking terrain than ever before. Now, in any other event in the last 10 years without the current 9th edition terrain rules, there would not be even remotely enough terrain. But it works well for this system because of the size of these mats. Now, what they did in all these mats as well is they put a little QR code. So if you ever were like, hey man, what is this piece of terrain? Take your phone, scan it, and it tells you, breachable, scalable, defensible, ruin, etc. That was the best thing they did.
That's legit, yeah.
I mean, how many times have you, in playing a game of Warhammer, been, 30 minutes in, and then someone starts calling out some rule that this terrain should have? And, maybe you didn't talk about it at the start of the game, and you're like, that shouldn't have that.
It's happened once or twice, and it depends. Normally, I really try to follow that rule. Like, if you guys just can't agree, 4-up, right? Roll a dice and see is usually the best way. Especially, it always comes up, and correct me if I'm wrong, at like a crucial time. It's after like you've shot this crazy high strength, low AP, high damage shots into some elite unit. It's like, yeah, but like light cover or whatever, right? And you're like, are you sure, man? I don't think so. And it's always around that point, right, where it's gonna come up, and you're gonna talk about it. And then at the end of the day, I've done just 4-up. Let's see. Sometimes you get burned by it. Sometimes it's just you got to roll with it as is, or tips in your favor, which is nice. But I try to make a habit of trying to talk about terrain first, and actually like narrate while I play. I've been trying to really get into that habit again as well. For 40k and for Harry. Yeah, exactly. My tent's to move over here. I'm going to need, an 8 to charge. Does that look like an 8? And you're like, yeah, cool. All right, sweet. So at least once you get to that point, it's so much easier, right, with the communication. So.
Yeah, and I've done the 4-up thing before. I think that's a great way to solve a problem when you're at, odds when it matters, like in that situation.
Yeah.
But they even foresaw before that could possibly happen. They provided those QR tags. That was really cool. That must have taken a ton of work.
Oh, I don't doubt that. And that was on every piece of terrain? Or just on the table?
Every single piece of terrain. Because everything had a base, and they just put it on the base.
That's pretty cool, man. I have to admit.
So, they did spend a ton of time on that. That was definitely cool. I mean, mind you, all they did was, printed off some QR codes and then just stuck those on the little fat mat cutouts, and every table had 4 ruins, 2 forests, and 6 crates, and then maybe 1 or 2 more pieces of scatter. So really, all you got to do is print off a QR code for a forest, a rune, and a crate twice per table.
Yeah.
So it is a ton of work, but it's also pretty simple. That was really cool. In the end, I think I gave Hometown, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Nice. Maybe 9 out of 10. The warm beer is kind of a downer. It was hot in there, but that you can't really fix that. It's a summer tournament. Yeah, food was good, and I just think the price gets me. The beer got me, but it was good.
A hundo's a big ticket for sure. Would you have felt better at 90?
Maybe I don't know. I think 80. I think 80 is like a premium event ticket price. And I'm not even sure if I want lunch provided. Like, it was nice to have the option at the hall, but I also don't mind getting out of the hall and going for lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, they also didn't have enough time to do all their paint judging at lunchtime, so they had to paint judge some people while they were still playing.
Oh, okay. How many players did it have? I know it was quite large.
Maybe 40-ish.
Okay.
Ish. They didn't hit 50. I don't know if they hit the 40 mark. It was high 30s, maybe low 40s.
Not bad, though. Not bad. Kudos, Hometown.
Definitely. So, 8 out of 10, definitely check it out. It's not an event to miss. They have some room for improvement. They have a lot of success.
Oh, that's awesome.
I ended up taking home Best Imperial with the Sister of Battle. Third best overall with a record of 3 wins, 2 losses. And I think that third best comes from a high paint score and high battle points. I scored quite highly on all my games, even the ones I lost. First round, I played Pendleton. He had some nids, and I
Nice.
actually recently lost to Pendleton at the last tournament, the Red Claw Full Auto.
Oh.
And I felt like I was playing 200 points less nids because I was after all the points
Yeah, they
changes.
got wicked points adjustment. I do remember that.
And I got about 60 free points on some sisters units, and the game went totally my way. I scored quite highly on that. It was a pretty easy win. Round 2 in the winners bracket, I had another really tough matchup into Lukash and his Chaos Knights. I lost by like 4 points. It was a very tight game. It went to time. Like we played all 5 turns. We didn't have much time at the end of it. I think he had like an Armiger half dead, and I had like Morbin Vol and maybe 5 Battle Sisters around.
Nice.
It was very, very close. Round 3 was the one I was the most upset about. I ended up playing this guy named Ben Taddy. And Ben Taddy is famous for just being a corn enthusiast. And this motherfucker brought like 160 bloodletters plus some character support. And when you look at that army, you're like, oh, free W, let me go get that bread. But the truth was, I just couldn't push them off objectives quick enough. He scored big on primary, and at one point in the game, it was like 90-30.
Oh god.
In the end, it ended up being like 94-76 or something like that, and I killed every single model he had on the table. And if we were playing old school Warhammer, where we had a turn 6, or if it was like the end of the game where it mattered what you were sitting on, I would have won.
Yeah.
But he just scored so big early on, kind of like how orcs do sometimes, that I could never really catch up. Game 4, I played against Blood Angels. And here I got a little poll. Let's play a game called Gutsy or Goatsy. All right, so I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and you tell me if we take the Gutsy player or the Goatsy player. He's playing Blood Angels, so he's playing kind of the new one where they take some Centurions.
Yeah.
Sure, the Space Marines within the Space Marines. And he had a big blob of Sanguinary Guard with a banner and I think Dante and 3 Centurions on a point. And I knew I needed to clear out some of that and then distract him for a turn before my models could get there. And on deck, I had 3 Paragon Warsuits. I could either take out probably all the Sanguinary Guard or all the Centurion Warsuits. Do you charge or do you hold back? Do you go Gutsy or are you Goatsy?
Ooh. Knowing me, I'd probably charge the Sanguinary Guard.
I ended up charging the Cents. Paragons wiped them. So we went Gutsy. We didn't go Goatsy. And as planned, I was able to hold him up for another turn. He had to clear out the Paragons, and then my Repentia could come clean up the rest of the Sanguinary Guard the following turn.
Yeah.
But that sort of like threat assessment, I think, is so crucial to the current Warhammer 40k, where you have to be like, okay, what can I kill? What's going to happen turn 1, 2 from now? And do I have a plan for the rest of it?
No, it's true. It's true. It's a big thing. It is a big thing. The way 40k plays is just, it's so different from all the other like systems that I've been playing. It is nice. It's always refreshing to jump in and get a few rounds going. It scratches a different itch. I was talking to one of the other guys in the community about it, and it's just, I enjoy both 30k and 40k for different reasons, for just gameplay style, model aesthetics, everything like that. So
you think one is more tactical than the other, or it's just different skill sets?
I've always thought 40k was a lot more tactical in decision making, especially with the strats, the kind of the way that the system's built. I have to admit though, now that Horse Heresy 2.0 has dropped these reactions, it's starting to feel that way a little bit to Heresy as well. There are things you can do in your army to try and really take advantage of these reactions. You can try and stall them out on the opponent. You can try and bait them out with screen units and really just trying to nickel and dime. I do like that aspect of it. So it's starting to go back to, like, to Central for me. I still think the edge is for 40k, but I really like the direction Heresy's been going. So
That's fair. 40k is built a little bit different with like secondaries and the primaries and the point system than Heresy is.
yeah.
So maybe might be onto something there. And then I ended up beating the Blood Angels. It was a very close game. It was actually one of the only missions in the game where you want to go second, because just the way speaking of mission secondaries, one of the mission secondary works. It's about a 20-point swing if you go second.
Oh wow.
But I was able to kind of overcome that and play a really good game of Warhammer. And then my final game was also against Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights, the boogeyman of this event, there was 9 Chaos Knight players, I think, out of like 36, Knight and Chaos Knight. I think it was a 7-2 split.
That's awesome.
So there was like 27% of the player base was Knights. So you had to kind of like roll a dice and, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're playing Knights. Not quite that, but and I was able to learn from my mistakes from playing Lukash, because it was a very similar list. And I cleaned up the floor on that one. I scored, I think, the biggest points out of the tournament there.
Oh, very nice.
So all in all, it was a good event.
No doubt.
I think it was my best showing yet this season.
That's killer. And that was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. So we're still recovering.
Yeah,
from playing so much fucking Warhammer.
No doubt.
And I think it was 2 weekends before that was the Red Claw full auto. Yeah. The Red Claw single day RTT 3-game ITC event. I think it had a good turnout too. They've had pretty good turnouts in their store. They ran pretty well. The terrain is, Red Claw has often been famous for having out of the stores like kind of the best terrain. But I think that some of their stuff's a little outdated now. I think it'd be perfect, actually, for Heresy, because they got a bunch of the old runes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Some of it doesn't quite work for what you need for like obscuring and stuff. Almost like where you almost want like that, neoprene base or other base, just so you can say that, hey, this is obscuring, this isn't.
Yeah,
that was a good event though too.
I have noticed, right, the terrain demands from the systems are very different, and it's definitely one thing to try and keep in mind, right? Especially like building terrain that you want to use for both systems. If you want to make like a decent table, it is a lot more demanding from 40k, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and it's so fucking different because, like, for example, do you base your terrain or not? In 40k, you want to base on it because it makes help defining what your obscuring is. Yeah. But in Heresy, if your terrain has a base on it, you're taking a -2 to your movement.
It's true.
And a lot of your stuff, you're rolling those DC checks or the DT checks, and if you roll 1, stuff is bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not cool. It is not cool at all.
I mean, if you got your 15-man assault squad and they're on their jump packs, you're losing 2 to dangerous terrain.
Yeah. So it's may not be the best trade-off for sure. So
gotta figure out something.
And I know, speaking of Red Claw full auto, they have another one coming up August 13th, I believe. Yeah,
I don't know if have they posted that yet. Are those tickets on sale?
I don't know if they're on sale yet. I've just heard. It's the 13th. I'm pretty sure. That's what I remember, that it's coming out. So I've heard it through the grapevine a little bit, so that'll be interesting to see it kick off.
I think I'm camping that weekend. Otherwise, I'd be at their event because it's a great event, and I'd like to take the sisters out to as many events as possible while they're still, in the driver's seat. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it comes and it goes, right? The chaos gods are fickle, and sometimes you get a boon, and sometimes you don't.
It's true.
Like true. Chaos Space Marines right now, they kind of just got a boon. Their codex just released.
Yeah.
Did you pick it up?
I did. Oh, I did. I'm all over.
Any initial impressions? Like, what do you flip through it? You looked at the art. You looked at some data sheets. Like,
overall, the Chaos Marines definitely got a nice boost all around. The additional wounds help a lot. A lot of the stratagems help a lot.
You have as many wounds as drones now. Congratulations.
Finally, it's been too long. So, there's some really cool synergies. I know Night Lords have some really strong combos. Word Bears themselves are looking extra spicy, which it just so happens that my 30k force is Word Bears and my 40k force is Word Bears, and I'm actually able to port probably like 90% of that army between the systems, so it makes it a lot easier painting wise to be able to concentrate on one group of models, and I can throw them back and forth with relative ease, especially because Galvorback are like the big giant possessed demons, if you're not familiar with 30k, but they port exactly over to possessed now for Chaos Space Marines who are on 40 mil bases, and the Galvorback are actually, I think, a little bit bigger still than they are, so if they're the same as greater possessed models from Shadowspear, they'll be basically just a little bit smaller than Galvorback, which is nice.
Now, do you see yourself actually playing Word Bearers? What are their special rules for 40k?
You get to reroll all your hit rolls on the turn that you charge or heroically intervene, which is nice.
Okay, so and with Chaos Space Marines, like army-wide exploding sixes.
Yeah, depending
that's
on
a big deal.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of doctrine you're in. It's like the Wanton Massacre, or there's 3 different ones. Some of them affect like assault weapons, pistols, rapid fire, heavy weapons, but you essentially all want to get down to the assault one where it's exploding sixes in combat, which is nice, okay. Especially with rerolls, it can be really good. They also get a 5+ ignore mortal wounds, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with armor contempt rolling around right now. People might try to start, I'm not going to fuck around with your armor save, I'll just do mortals, but you got a 5+ save, you're still not be picking models up, right? You'll save a few.
Yeah, you will. They feel very actually comparable to almost Black Templar in my mind. So just with the saves and the general buffs that you can give them, a lot of the characters have really good synergy with a few choices in the book. But they aren't the only ones. Even the Iron Warriors, another army that I play, is looking pretty spicy as well. I know they changed their Armor of Contempt rule to you can't reroll wounds against any Iron Warrior units, which is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Still pretty good, so...
Well, they're T4 or T5 if you're those possessed, so not being able to reroll wounds on that it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. And army-wide is really nice, right? Like, I think that'll give you extra mileage throughout the game and really start to kind of take away some of these guys' builds if you see a lot of lieutenants or just, certain prayers or chants or whatever. I think they're pretty fair. They're pretty decent. Overall, like, I've heard really good things about the books. There's been a couple things that have changed just because of the no model syndrome or no option syndrome, which is kind of weird. They did it to kind of half the units got hit by that and half didn't, so...
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things I like that they did for Chaos Space Marines, because when you look at, say, the Terminator Squad, they have all different weapons, and all those different weapons used to have special rules. You used to have to really fuck around to go get enough axes or swords or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
But now those are just accursed weapons. They're all -3, +1 strengths, +1 attack, maybe.
I think +1 attack with it, yeah, and 1 damage.
And they fucking slap, right? That's kind of a neat little thing.
The downside with that is the rest of the options in that squad is essentially like you can only have this many combi plasma. I think it's 2 combi plasma, 2 combi melta, 2 combi flamer.
So you can't take 4 combi melta anymore.
No. You can have like one squad that can have lightning claws. You can or one guy you can have up to 3 power fists kind of thing. but like you can't kit everybody the same anymore, and unless it's all cursed weapons. And I feel it's good and bad. Good because the squad is a lot easier to just build out of the box. Bad because you're taking a lot of these modeling options and tactical options away from players. Bad because you are also stripping a lot of essentially a lot of the flair that you can get with third-party bits.
Well, and player agency, right?
Yeah.
Um,
but from a business point of view, it's good because you're eliminating third-party bits that aren't yours. So.
And the new Chaos Space Marine Legionnaire kit, the one that comes out of Kill Team, those models are fucking cool.
Yeah, they are.
Back when I started playing Warhammer 40k in 5th edition, between Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines, there wasn't like a ton of a difference.
Yeah.
Like they were kind of different, but the running joke was that Chaos Space Marines get everything Space Marines have, but worse. And they've kind of continued that train through 6th and through 7th.
Yeah.
And maybe through 8th. And there are some things that Chaos Space Marines get to do well. Like for a time in 6th, the fucking Helldrake was bonkers.
Yeah.
But it really seems like from a design standpoint that Chaos Space Marines are maybe finally starting to stand on their own, like rules wise, because like Possessed are the fucking greatest thing in the Codex right now, and that's really flipping the switch because there was a time when they were the worst unit in the game.
Yeah.
And you're not really using a lot of the old Space Marine tanks anymore. Now you're going to use the Demon Engines.
It's true.
Like the Venom Crawlers or the Lord Discordant or the Forge Fiend and the Mauler Fiend. And I really like that as a design perspective. We're not just looking at like two different flavors of Space Marines, but one have horns. Now we have two really distinct armies. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I am actually looking forward later on this week. I'm actually going to be meeting up with Kenny Boucher to do like a deep dive on Chaos Space Marines and talk about all the wonderful things in that codex. Because I know he's been going really hard with that on the Long War Network, and they've kind of been doing some serious dives into that book. So it's going to be pretty legit. So keep a lookout for that.
Now he's part of Next Level Painting, right?
Yeah.
And he does some courses.
Yeah, he does some painting courses. His 101 course, which can transition over to like a 201, 301, and then obviously offers a little bit more on top of that, and then does commissions and whatnot as well.
I think he's also a writer for Bell of Lost Souls occasionally too, but I could be out to lunch there.
I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I'll have to bug him. See.
Hey Kenny, do you ever write for Bell of Lost Souls? Are you the new Larry Vella?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've had the chance to look at the Codex a bit. I know you're not super familiar, but do you think Chaos Space Marines have what it takes to kind of upseat the top seat? And I don't know if that top seat is Necrons, Nids, or Sisters of Battle, but are Chaos Space Marines like the next Necron, the next Harlequin, the next Custodi, the next Tau, the next Eldar?
They feel really strong. I think they're in a good place. In all honesty, like there's a lot of guys online who are far more deeper than I am for the 40k, but they're saying like this is probably one of the stronger books that we've had since 3.5. And those are bold statements.
I mean, not really. Let me tell you the fucking good Chaos books between 3.5 and now. Chaos Demons in 7th, the end.
Wow. The janky circus, right?
The janky circus. Yeah. I've been doing a bit of reading on them. I think that they're going to be good, but not broken.
Yeah.
I think they're going to reward longtime Chaos veterans. I don't see them
should.
as they should, but I don't see it as a faction that someone's going to go out and drop $1,000, go buy the 2 squads of Possessed, the Lord Disco, Abaddon, 6 Obliterators, and then be able to rack up GT wins.
Yeah.
I think that list will rack up GT wins, but from the people who've been playing out Chaos for some time. It's not going to be the auto wins that Void Weaver Spam and other stuff was.
Yeah. No, I could agree with that. Like, I think they're going to be in a really good place. Especially the Night Lords and Word Bearers. I'm pretty eager to see how they shake out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe
awesome.
we'll see 1 or 2 at your event coming up.
Yes, I expect to see a couple
Now,
at the very least. So,
have you? So, for those of you that don't know, Bill's running an event at the end of August 26th, 27th, 27th, 28th.
27th, 28th. Yeah.
All right. Saturday you're doing 40k GT or RTT, so RTT. 3 games, 2,000 points, winner take all.
Yeah.
And the Sunday you're doing something really fucking cool.
Yeah, we're doing a doubles event, so up to 16 teams. It'll be 1,000 points per player, so 2,000 point armies fighting each other, but they are operating obviously as a team but independently. And alongside that, we're actually having a 16-man singles horse heresy event as well. So,
man, that
a little bit of everything for everybody.
That's actually my favorite format of the event, because Sunday the boys can go hard, or Saturday the boys can go hard, and girls or whoever else. The people can go hard and play competitive Warhammer, but the Sunday doubles has traditionally been more relaxed and more fun. Just because it's a format that's meant to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
to be fun, to shoot the shit, to be a little zany.
It should be good. I am hoping to put on a good show for the community. So I think between the 2 different styles of play, there will be something for everyone. So yeah, definitely look to the social pages in the next little while. I know there's a lot of work right now behind the scenes, getting all the packs together and everything kind of up to date and polished, and it'll still be Paint City to get everything ready for that. But yeah, I know everyone's pretty excited. I've got a lot of positive feedback already just from announcing the save the date. So it's looking to be pretty good. It's going to be at the Eagle Club here in St. Albert, and I can tell you that there is a bar and there is a kitchen. And what more do you need? You can roll some dice, play Warhammer, and have a couple brews and some wings. Kind of checks all the boxes for me. So definitely look forward to seeing everybody there, and I think it'll be a good show.
If you do sign up for the event and you're in between games, grab some of those boneless wings. The
boneless ribs, yes.
The boneless ribs, and some Thai sauce.
Yeah,
those are to die for. The Folk Club, the Freedom there, the Fraternity of Eagles there. The beer is cheap, the food is good. It's just a great time. So I'm gonna be, if I'm not first in line at this event, I'm gonna be upset. I'm gonna be spamming the refresh button, waiting for socials to appear. Have you come up with a name for it yet?
I'm mulling
over Billy Boy's
event of cool.
Billy Boy's blizzard of badassery.
No, not yet. I've kind of been throwing around a couple names, but I wanna kind of do a little mini canvas just to see which one sounds coolest. Because ultimately, I want to try and have something that I can run a annual circuit of. So I want to be able just to continuously roll it out, right? Like version 2, version 3, version 4, or 1,
22, 23, 24,
yeah,
etc.
Something cool, right? So definitely trying to make it where it's going to be a longevity thing. So it's been a long time in the making. If you've been keeping up on our social pages, you've seen the posts in the last little while of all the different terrain that everyone's been working on. I know there's a few guys, including Arthur, Scotty, Isaac, Andy, Dan, just even Alex. Everyone's been kind of chipping away and putting some effort towards it to help keep things rolling, and it's been a massive help because it's a lot of terrain. It's a lot of terrain for one dude to try and get prepared and ready to go. It's in total. Last time I checked, it was around. Pretty sure it was like 16, 17 tables. So it's
and these are not empty tables. These are like full tables.
Yeah, there's a lot. There should be no shortage of terrain. I think everyone will be happy with what we put out. So
right on, man. Right on.
Really good.
I know I'm excited as the undefeated, undisputed doubles champion of all time. I always love to play my favorite type of format. Now, unfortunately, that championship team has retired, and then my next doubles partner has moved to Drumheller. I'm currently looking for a doubles partner. So yes, if you were someone who wants to play doubles Warhammer with an undefeated, undisputed doubles champ of all time, taking applications.
Awesome.
A couple other things are wrapping up. The Edmonton Warhammer League is wrapping up.
Yes. Yep.
The St. Albert Club's Scotty B went for an undefeated run of 8-0, and don't let him try to tell you he went 7-0-1 because he didn't. He beat me out in the last game, although he'd like to say it was a tie. It was not. And we're doing a top 8 playoffs.
Very nice.
Winner gets a $100 gift card to Red Claw. The best sport will get a $100 gift card to Red Claw. And then we're going to do some sort of painting competition, and the winner of that will get a $100 gift card to Red Claw. And I debated for prize support whether I wanted to do trophies or little something, right? But I figured one way to support the local community, support some independent business, and get models in people's hands is just straight gift cards.
It's always a positive. When you ever have the opportunity to support like your local game stores, and obviously in Edmonton like we have multiple, take that opportunity to do that. And like I really mean that for anyone just listening. Go down to your local store, throw a few bucks their way, because they are essentially the foundations of a lot of gaming. They bring a lot of people together. And it's a huge benefit for the community when these stores are around and thriving. So,
well, that's it, dude. They're often the first step for people to get into Warhammer.
They are,
or Heresy, or board games, or whatever their niche fetish is. Yeah. And without them, we wouldn't have new players, and we wouldn't have people coming to these cool events like the old Billy Blizzard's Bonk Fest 22.
That's right. Yeah, we'll make it a good name. Don't worry. I'm pondering already.
The lock the door, take your shirt off, 40k extravaganza.
Yeah. Oh my. I can only imagine the artwork for that. Hardcore.
Some real Emperor's Children stuff going on.
Yeah, no doubt. Man.
The last thing I think I wanted to talk about was Angron.
Oh, yes.
So, first of all, that morning, somebody leaked a picture of him. I think it was Games Workshop. Whatever. A couple hours later, Games Workshop releases the full photo of Angron.
Yeah. No pixelation.
Now, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah, it was all nice painted, very clear.
Last year sometime, somebody leaked like Games Workshop's upcoming release schedule. And it's been like almost to a T right since then, and Angron and the Word Bearers were on that. So he hasn't had like a release date lit out for him yet, but we know he's coming, probably around Christmas is my guess. What do you think? Is this model what you were expecting? Does he build up to the hype of a Primarch of Mortarion and Magnus?
He, it's such, it's tragic, right? I like that they brought out another Primarch. It's cool. I like that they brought out another Demon Primarch. It's cool.
But
What I didn't need was another Bloodthirster model. And although I know it, but it's Angron and he's different and he's cool. Like, I would have much rather have seen a Fulgrim, like a Demon Fulgrim, all snake body and everything. Like, I think it would have been bigger than Angron. So it's cool. I like it. I think obviously he'll have rules for 30k. He'll have rules for 40k. Guys can really play it up and like build their word bearer force that they really want to. It'll be neat. I would have liked to see either Fulgrim or another loyalist Primarch come out. And I know there's rumors of 10th edition and the Lion and some other shit coming down the pipe, but meh, like where's Fulgrim, right? Like, come on.
they've been teasing him for like 2 editions now.
I know, and I would love to see it. I really would.
I mean, they got the model kicking around somewhere. It's been built for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Just like they already had all the Primaris built, and they're slowly drip feeding across the editions. Oh, now buy these 6 new overpowered kits.
Yeah. Yes. It'll be interesting to see how it all kind of boils down, right? There's rumors of 10th edition coming and a lot of changes again, and obviously more armies. The Leagues of Votan, they're supposed to be dropping some pretty wild stuff soon too. Their little vehicle, it's kind of like a ATV
Oh my god.
research little truck thing.
I fucking hate these squats.
I'm not a fan of squats myself, so
a lot of people have complained about Tau not fitting the aesthetic of 40k for as long as I've been playing this game. And to some extent, they're right. They don't. These squats are even more out there. They'd be perfect. They have the same aesthetic as like Necromunda or maybe Kill Team or some of the other stuff, but like as a full 40k release, as an equal to AdMech, Sisters, Space Marines, Chaos Demons, Chaos Space Marines, they don't fit.
Yeah. They've just been gone for so long.
They look goofy. Just straight goofy. I hate them. They look like an Age of Sigmar army, man.
They have a cartoonier look. For me, for sure. And who knows? I know there's some diehards out there from back in the Golden Age days that are like, yes, squats, they're back. I was never sad to see them go, so I'm not really pumped to see them return. So, but for those who are, I think we'll see some cool conversions. I hope that there will be a lot of kind of Space Marine and squat kind of back and forth conversions, because I think they would look cool in more Imperial armor myself, and we'll kind of see how it all works out, I guess.
At the start of 9th edition, they had that trailer, and it was Sisters of Battle against Necron Bite.
Yeah.
And in this trailer, we had like a sister get fucking stepped on. We had some sister get like her hand shot off. The sisters like chainsawed Necrons to pieces. It was very grimdark. It was set at night. The plasma glowed. The Necrons were evil.
Yeah.
And the faith in the Emperor, provided. And just imagine that same trailer, but instead of the Space Marines charging down, the stupid fucking trike comes roaring up, and these little dwarfs goobers get out and they shoot their little guns and they walk up in their little rock suits and then what? They put their drills to use? Like, I just don't see it, man. I don't see it.
Well, yeah. Let's hope that let's hope they do something wild. I hope they're saving something really cool. Something really cool.
We'll see. There's someone out there will pick that army up. There's people that love that kind of stuff, right? Like the Gene Stealer cult sold exceptionally well. People love that. They kind of got a weird aesthetic to them with all the mining stuff.
That's true. That's true.
So maybe there's that.
That's true. Andy, you're not allowed to buy Leagues of Wotan, okay? If you're listening. You've got too many armies already.
Too many. No, is Andy into that?
He loves the squats. Like, he loves the squats.
Oh no.
He loves that I hate the squats.
So, he's gonna listen to this podcast. He's gonna be rock hard by the end.
Oh. Just ready. Just ready. As soon as it's up for pre-order, I know he's gonna order. He'll be like, I'll take 2. One for me and one to spite you. I'm like,
Oh my god. Well, you know what? Good. I'm glad for people like Andy that they have models that they like and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And anytime they expand 40k, that makes me a happy guy. I like playing against different armies in the tabletop. As we play in the league, and if I could play 8 different armies in my 8 league games, I'd be happy.
I'm pretty legit.
Because that's at its best, right? You get to see the neat mechanics of everyone doing their cool little thing.
Yeah.
And I like that in 40k they've been kind of rolling some of the sub-factions back into their parent factions. So for example, Harlequins are now back with the Eldar book. It's on a separate release.
Yeah, it feels better for sure.
Exactly. Be'lakor is going to be in that Demon Codex. He's not his separate little army. That's going to be cool. I don't like that the Thousand Sons and Death Guard and Word Bearers are their own unique entry.
Or the World Eaters, yeah.
Yeah, World Eaters. Like, maybe that's not a problem. I don't know. Maybe, I guess I haven't really talked to Chaos Space Marine players if they like that or not. Because if you have all those individual books, then what are Chaos Space Marines? Everyone else?
They're kind of essentially like, in my opinion, I think they will end up dropping like an Emperor's Children Codex eventually.
For sure,
and then you'll just have the Chaos Space Marines are meant to be that generic chaos undivided kind of army, or you can have influences here and there, but you haven't fully succumbed to one of the main 4 cult armies, right?
So actually, maybe that fits the fluff, because don't like Nurgle and Slanesh hate each other, and Khorne and Tzeentch hate each other.
Yeah, there's big rivalries between the gods, so it's that part makes it kind of make sense.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And, more rules for people who love their individual thing is cool.
It's true.
Hell, you might even see me jump into Emperor's Children when that book gets released. We'll see. We'll see. I'd have to eat a lot of crow because I make fun of chaos as like a hobby at this point, but...
Indeed.
We'll see. I think that kind of chalks up everything I wanted to chat about.
Yeah.
We talked 40k. We talked Nephilim. We talked Hometown. We talked Full Auto. We talked your event. We talked Marines and Angron.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that pretty much ticks them all. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Absolutely.
I guess for you all listening, let us know in the comments if you guys are doing local events yourselves. If you've played in any or hosted any. If you've just got anything upcoming. I know there's pretty much a ton of different games being played right now, just across Alberta, not to mention like North America itself. See it on my feed all the time. Just explodes with games and different systems and everything. So definitely let us know how things are going where you're at in your local. And thank you for tuning in for another episode. And thanks a lot, Arthur, for dropping in again and talking some 40k with us. It's always a pleasure to kind of get the inside scoop of what's happening with events and league and everything else. So you're quite an involved guy. So it's always good info and a good chat.
Well, I just love Warhammer, playing Warhammer, and talking Warhammer, man.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Well, awesome. I guess, yeah, until next time, my friends. Catch you later.
Trident Wargaming. Build it, paint it, play it.